Hello, hello everybody, welcome back. We have an update today to go through real quick, and then I'll probably spend my time running missions and whatnot. So I'll just wait for people to join on in. Yes, I am in my Telemachus today. I am just waiting for people to come in. Alright, so we have a new update today. It released earlier this morning. It mostly just focuses around the store, but let's have a look at... I wonder if I can pull up the Torque Tech stuff. I don't know if I can. I have no idea if I can actually look at the Torque Tech or not. There we go. Alright, so ignore everything you see here that's not important. We are looking at Torque Tech 8 right now, so Torque Tech 8 has that new tactical carrier manufacturing, territory manufacturer, and personnel expansion. So that's not bad. Yeah, that's not terrible. Alright, so nothing really new there. Let me have a quick look and see if any of the talked about ships have shown up quite yet. Nope. Okay, so they're not in the game quite yet for the Titans. Hello, Jenner. How you doing today? Right, events. We have Visual Protocol Reconstruction. That is for the... Oh my, that's loud. This is for the, emojis. So pretty cool. And now we have the cluster orbit missions. Yeah, I don't think I'll need any missions done. I'm not gonna have many myself. Not this week at least. And I'll be probably running other people's missions. Alright, let's change this over. I don't remember. How much bounty kit did we get in the past from these? It was like 10 million, right? Maybe I'll just set it to the NPC ships. But first, I'm going to set it to planetary. That way I've got all my planetary there. You can check my Concord Pass as well, which does have planetary. This is literally the only reason why I have planetary right now. Just to level up missions. Alright. That got me 3 levels just right off the bat. Very nice. We are going to change those now to... I'm just going to change one of these to be the NPCs. Okay. This will have... Let's see what we're getting in total for 10 levels. We're getting 5 boxes from the mission documents. That's like 15 billion-isk at minimum. You get some emoji token things. And you will get the new Fighter Optify integrated, which will have the integrated Oath and the integrated Hummingbirds, which I kinda want. Integrated Mambas, which I want as well. I am only going to upgrade to the minimum amount here, because I don't think you actually get anything good after this. It's just 5 AI learning cores, so not really necessary for me this time around. We're just gonna unlock the second row. And now I've got 5 missions, for way cheaper than it would be to buy the missions. That also gives me the Navigator program, the 360 AUR, to get an additional 2.1 million. I don't know. I do not know. And of course that was pretty easy, I got my top-up rewards. Anything else in here? I don't see anything else. So now let's go to the store. And this is our main event this time around. We have the new Fighter Draw Supply, which will require you to open the box 12 times. That's actually not a bad value. 12 times to get the integrated fighter box. That's not bad. So that's like 50 bucks to get your integrated fighter box. Or you can just spend 120 and get the assault fighters, which are just as good, in my opinion. Not DPS wise, but pretty much the same thing. These assault hummingbirds healing 800 every 4 seconds? That's kind of crazy. And it's 3 per squad. Max limit. Hello Sniffy, hello Jenner. Let's see what people have on the market right now. 5 billion for one of those? Assault Oath. These are pretty good as well. 750 every 4 seconds. 3 of them, yeah, that's pretty normal. $5 billion for those as well. Okay. I think if you're gonna spend any ISK, and you have a carrier that you're intending to do things with, just do the new fighter's op supply. That way you're guaranteed the fighter of your choice. And yeah, the Mamba sounds pretty cool. 277 DPS. With the web of fire. 20-kilometer web. Good lord. Hello, Heartbreaking. Hello, Epiphany. Jeez! These Assault Mambas have a 20-kilometer optimal range and a 50 fall-off. Are these... Do these not fly? No, they fly around. So they just have an insane range. They just have an insane range to apply their DPS. Now, of course, you can only use one of these. There are 3 in a flight. You can only have 1 squad. So, man, that's kind of crazy. People are asking about 2.5 billion right now. Assault Agent. What was this one? This is the 1 warp scram, so you would have 3 warp scram on these. Yeah, I would say that these are not going to be used. 3 warp scram is not enough. Yeah, 3 warp scram is not enough. I would rather use the Assault Mamba. Sensor dampeners on the Assault Grail. Interesting. Okay, so that's the target painter that has the range. Web of Fire has 20-kilometer range, and the actual range on these is 12 and 6. Huzzah! T10 now. Very nice. Yeah, I don't know. I really do think the Mambas are going to be the most sought after. Maybe the Dromi as well. And the Siren. Scarab, Cenobite, yeah. Kind of interesting. I think I would prefer the Mambas now, out of all of them. Alright, next we also have the mission documents. These are at 120 AUR, which means I can pretty much get 10 of them. I'd have to buy one more set of AUR for that. These are going to contain the normal, hard, and extreme missions. Do not try to attempt hard or extreme unless you are capable of doing a Sancha raid solo. But you are more than capable of doing the normals without a problem. Even with a battleship. Alright, so then we have the Shanghai Draw Supply. You need to open 60 of these to get your Shanghai. Sky Patrol is for the Marshal. So you'll get a Marshal plus a blue nanocore and the option box for the Disruptor, the Inhibitor. Same thing, you have to open 50 of these to guarantee you a Marshal. 25 gets you the module supply. I don't really see a whole lot else that is new. There's the illusory coins again. But whatever. If you are doing the missions, buying them and sharing them, you will receive keys for completion, and 65 keys will get you a Telemachus. Or a Delirium. 80 keys will get you the Void Shadow thing here. The Void Shadow Nanocore. Not bad. I wouldn't call it an amazing nanocore, but people have found really kind of niche uses for it that it's working very well in. So, it's not the worst nanocore by any means. If you need one, it's available. Alright, real quick, I am going to hide my screen. Alright, let's bring us back. Here we are. We are going to get 10 more mission supplies. That means I have 15 of them today. I don't think I will be sharing these. I kind of just want to run them myself. But I also want to run what people are sharing. I don't know. I mean, you can. You technically can. Alright, good. That's a good mix right there. We got 2 red, 3 yellow, and 10 green. That means from my 15 boxes, we're going to get like 20 of the keys. Hold on a minute. We're going to be getting 22 of the key boxes from this. Very nice. I think what I'll do is I will share my normal missions, which are for the battleships. I'll share 9 of those. No, I'll share all 10 since I've already done this before, but Yeah, I'll share all 10 of those, and then I'll run my mediums and my hard. My hard's in the extreme, sorry. So, if I go to encounters, mission sharing, my shares, share mission, make sure you select your normal missions, you set how many you want to share. Oh, wow. I'm really messing this up. 40 million apiece. And create. Now I do have my auto review on, which should just accept anybody. And then I will go run wild. These guys are really bad when they're sharing it for 5,000 or 5 million. Y'all are useless if you're sharing it that low. Thank you, Jenner. If you ever wonder why your mission doesn't get picked up, don't be a cheapskate. Actually pay the people that are running your missions. This guy is a cheapskate, so he will not get them completed. Alright, let's do my missions.
Autopilot engaged.
And let's go ahead and do what I need to. Remember, these people are getting 2.5 to 3.5 billion ISK for each of these key boxes that they're getting in return for you running their missions. Do not let them be a cheapskate. Let them sit there with nobody running them. I'm sorry it has to be that way, but it's the honest reality of what is going on.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, the runners get like a very measly bounty. I think it's like 5 or 10 million that you get for the bounty. Depending on if you are doing the harder missions or the easier missions. I think the extreme mission gave you 15? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Warp drive active.
Alright, as we are headed that way, I am going to make myself some coffee.
Warp drive active. Destination reached.
Alright, we made it to our destination. Give me a minute to get back to the computer. Alright. Let's go ahead and get in there. Now, last time these came around, we had a little bit of a glitch where sometimes it would spawn the mission like 30 jumps away. Let's hope it does not do that this time. Alright. Got lots of good people here. So this,
Warp drive
medium
active.
anomaly, this hard difficulty, is going to have a capital ship on wave 2.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. Receiving remote repair.
As you can see, it's pretty easy for the Telemachus. It is not hard at all. Alright, here comes wave 2, which is going to have the carrier.
We're under attack.
Right? Yep, there's the carrier.
Receiving remote repair.
So right now I am at about 32,937 DPS. And that is with one of my bays having the Asteros. And this is how long it's going to take to actually kill one of those.
We're being warp scrambled.
The only reason why I'm fighting the carrier first is because we're not getting that much bounty from anything. So for me, just killing the carrier and killing everything else afterwards is fine, since I don't take, like, a whole lot of damage anyway. But for someone else, you may want to clear out the grid first before killing the carrier.
Shield damaged.
Don't worry, we are in armor tank. The shield alarm does not matter. And this is why I would say, if you can't solo Sancha anomalies, you're not going to be able to complete this because this carrier has so much health, and it heals, and it has high resistance. You can see here, just a little bit above average on the resistance for the shield, but they do have a lot of health. And things to keep their health high. Alright, let's see our shared missions. They should be all pretty much done. Oh, we got one guy still running it. We are almost done with the carrier. You see there's a lot of neutralizers as well, and Nosferatu, so if you can't keep your capacitor high, you will die. Oh, there it goes. It just completed, I believe. Yep, no more on the list. Now I've just got all my capital anomalies. How's that mission sharing looking? Hey, look at that. Benedict. Putting out the work. Same with this guy, Davy Jones. He's putting in a good work there. Benedict putting up more for 200 million. Very nice. You do actually have to dock, don't you? I might just go ahead and share my other, my other hard missions while I go do an extreme.
Warp drive active.
I don't know. I know that I'll get it done in a reasonable amount of time, so I don't really need to rely on other people.
Docking request accepted.
Just go do another medium here.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking. Warp drive active. Destination reached.
Alright. Let's go do another one.
Warp drive active.
I wonder what the current, box value is. I think it was under special items, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken. No? Okay. There we are. Abyssal Shadow Keys, currently at 3.6 billion per box. And I will have 22 of them.
Warp drive active.
So that will put me at 79.2 billion without tax. Yeah, I feel that, Afrolicious. How you doing today?
We're being warp scrambled. Receiving remote repair. We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
Yep, I absolutely feel that.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Let's quickly take care of these guys
We're
here,
under attack.
and then we'll move on to the carrier.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being
Yes.
warp scrambled.
I am doing good. I'm glad you stopped by. I, tried to get awake today. Having a hard time being awake today. But I am looking forward to just running these missions.
We're being
I
warp
kinda need to...
scrambled. We're being warp scrambled.
This is some of the best ISK you can make in the game if you are buying the shared missions or running the shared missions for other people. So, definitely worth doing.
We're being warp scrambled.
I honestly don't think I'm gonna need this Astero if I do it that way. Let's just get some extra DPS on grid. Alright, so 23 million is the typical bounty for one of these medium missions. Very nice. And we are now at 40,366. Alright, there we go. Let's see how the mission people are doing. Alright, that's not bad. 400 million for the Extreme Abyssal Shadow. Mind Cage, yeah. I don't think this person, this was you. 10 million is probably not enough, good sir. For a Mind Cage heart. Yeah, at least this time around, I don't feel like I need, the Telemachus or the Delirium. I can just focus on making money. Yeah, if I do it this way, I won't ever have to worry about them getting into my armor, so let me do it this way in the future. We're getting some okay-ish from the items. That's not too bad.
Warp drive active.
Let us do another one. Of course, you do have to dock up to accept a mission, but it's
Docking
fine.
request accepted.
Alright, so this one's gonna be 3 jumps away.
Autopilot engaged.
During this event, we also had a reduction to the warp capacitor need for capital ships. So I wonder how well that has affected, like, the Cyan and the Lucent Moon. I'm noticing it's taking almost no capacitor for me to warp around, but it never really did on the Telemachus.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
Boy, I really do like this Telemachus for doing high-sec stuff. It is so nice. If it wasn't so darn expensive, I would probably have one in nullsec too, but when you're looking at 300 billion ISK in nullsec, it's like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'd rather have something cheaper that does the same amount of work.
Warp drive active.
Hello, RPG. How you doing today? Hello, Riley. See those shared missions again. There we go. Look at that. Those are some good shared missions right there.
Destination reached.
200 million, 400 million. That is perfect.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I try to focus on one game one day and then play another game on a day where I'm not streaming.
Warp drive active.
We're under attack.
I have to be very careful about how hard I play games and how often. Mostly because burnout is definitely a thing, and you can find yourself in a position where you just don't enjoy anything you're doing because you've gone through and done so much in such a short amount of time. So I spend a lot of time just doing a little bit here on stream and then going and relaxing, doing something completely unrelated to video games, and then coming back to video games later in the day.
We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Ah, this Sancha Ascendant actually has a bubble.
We're being warp scrambled.
That's nice. So this one will take a little bit longer to take care of. Yeah, that's okay, Riley. What may happen, since I'm gonna end up with a few boxes of the new fighters, I may donate them to Corporation for people to use. It's only 120 AUR, Riley. Unless you're talking about getting multiple boxes. Yeah, so something to note here. All of those other ships have a bounty on them, but the Sancha Ascendant doesn't, and the Succubus does not. Now, honestly, I don't even know if you need to skill into them other than maybe, like, logistics drone skills. I have no idea. But they should just fall under light fighter skills, for the most part. But it won't be until next Wednesday when I can start looking at, like, getting a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, that'll be nice, Rylan. Yeah, that's a good one. The resistance to capacitor warfare is so nice to have. Especially since we're doing Sancha, and eventually we could have the possibility of seeing, like, a Blood Raider version of this. And that is going to hurt. I am absolutely terrified of what a Blood Raider incursion would be. Alright, pretty soon here we'll see the bubble collapse on the Sancha Lieutenant. And that is because we are starting to put him below, I think it was like 30% shield or 20% shield. There it goes. Yeah, I don't drink, any alcohol at all. My grandfather was, unfortunately, very addicted to it, and it ruined his life, and he set a very firm example of what I should never attempt to do. And so I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke. I am about as clean as you can get aside from, caffeine. Gosh darn. I really love my caffeine. Actually, I gotta see where my, webs are at now. 56%. I feel like that's not that much lower than it was before. 41? That is a little bit lower. Yeah, I am trying to stop myself from having so much caffeine in a single day. Usually when I'm at work, I will have way too much caffeine. I mean, I'm talking about like 2 Starbucks double shot energies, a Rockstar or two, and that's just too much. That's not healthy. That is the opposite of what I'm looking for.
Warp drive active.
But at home, I mostly drink caffeine-free sodas or brisk lemon iced tea. I just need something with flavor that is not just water.
Docking request accepted.
That's going pretty good here. 191. What did I pick up? Oh. Picked up a True Sancha heat sink. Got a True Sancha Stasis Webifier, which is nice. Alright, now we're gonna be doing the, extreme missions that I have.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
You know, I've never heard any of those in my life, but if you like them, that's pretty good. I am someone that you could describe. Yeah, I need to up my rewards. Very true. Benedict is doing God's work right now, helping the community.
Warp drive active.
He is doing a great job. But anyways, back to what I was saying about coffee. I am someone that you could describe as having like sugar and milk with a side of coffee, rather than having coffee with some sugar and milk. I don't have any milk today, but I did have a heap of sugar in there.
Warp drive active.
if you need, like, a perfect example of that, when I used to go to McDonald's for, like, breakfast and stuff, I would get a iced coffee
Warp drive active.
with, like, caramel iced coffee with, 10 pumps of sugar and 5 pumps of cream. So I would have, like, half a drink of just those two, and then the rest would be coffee. Best thing ever. But I need to swap that guy out for a Astero.
Destination reached.
Because we are going to be needing that this time around. There we go. Man, I love
Warp
McDonald's.
drive active.
It is the most delicious thing for a fast food restaurant for me. I've had everything under the sun so far, and there's nothing that hits quite right other than McDonald's. I can go there and I know the food is going to taste the exact same all the time. Yeah, I get that. I know it's definitely not for everyone, but for me, it is so perfect. Even, like, I don't like breakfast sausage all that much, but whatever they've done to the McDonald's breakfast sausage, it's perfect. It, I don't know.
Warp drive active.
But every other breakfast sausage I have ever had usually leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth.
We're being warp scrambled. We're being warp scrambled. Receiving remote repair.
Love and cocaine. Yeah. You know, it's a darn good thing that I don't
We're being warp
live
scrambled.
on the opposite side of town, because I would be stopping at McDonald's like every day. But since I have to go out of my way to get there, I only go like maybe once every month or so.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, Riley. I think I have maybe a little bit of a hot take on all that kind of stuff. I can... The perfect example is War Thunder. War Thunder, you've got all these different nations of tanks and planes and all that, and ships. And a lot of people, or at least a majority of very loud people, will refuse to play a certain nation because of their policies or politics or anything like that. For me, I really don't care. As long as it is in-game and not an actual event,
We're being
I don't
warp
care
scrambled.
if I'm playing that nation or not. Or if I'm eating their food or not. because it's not always made by them. You know?
Receiving remote repair.
So my preference is to separate things based on whether it is actually produced and exported by that nation or country, and whether or not it's major enough for me to stop getting whatever it is I enjoy. And I think that's pretty controversial as a whole. So I don't go too much into it. But generally, I'll just enjoy what I enjoy, and I'm not gonna bother anybody else. That's my viewpoint on that. I think people are really tied up in the politics of everything. But politics can change. People can change. Things can be made a lot better. And it might just suck right now, but maybe in the future it'll be okay. I don't know. That's my viewpoint. I'm gonna enjoy what I enjoy, and it's not gonna bother me so long as I'm not, like, directly influencing anything. I've never actually been to, like, a roadside food stall or anything like that, in places where it's prevalent. I've actually never been outside of the country, to be honest. Everything I have done is been within the USA. And there is so much more that I want to do in the USA. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're just about right, Jenner. If it affects you personally, you have the right to choose whether you buy those items or not. But I guess for a lot of people, it doesn't matter. They just have a necessity to have it, whether or not they agree with where it comes from. That's hilarious, RPG. I think there's a lot of good food around the world that I want to try at least once. Um, Especially if you can get it authentic, it makes the experience so much better. It's going pretty okay. Isn't this an extreme? I thought there was supposed to be like 2 carriers here. Did they bug it again? Or is it still bugged from last time? Oh my god, look at how far this system is. 86.9 AU? Oh my god, that is such a long jump. Oh, we got another good item here. What did we get this time? $268, huh? We got another True Sancha heatsink, which
Warp
is
drive
nice.
active.
Is it just the, guns? True Sancha medium pulse beam lasers. Wow, True Sancha small beam. Hello, Builder, how you doing today? Welcome. Ooh, True Sancha small Nosferatu, huh? That's not bad.
Docking request accepted.
I feel like the enemies are dropping a lot more loot this time around. Alright, let's do our last extreme mission here that we got for ourselves. And then we will help people with their own missions.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
Ah, yeah. I think for me, like, the only companies that I do not support are Ubisoft. And I think there's one other that I can think of off the top of my head, but Ubisoft in general has been pretty rough over the last decade or so. Between layoffs,
Drive active.
poor management decisions, things like that. Their games releasing in an unplayable fashion. So, I'm just not gonna buy anything from them. Yeah, the same to the last time. They only have one carrier in it. They should have had 2 carriers, if I remember correctly, but right now they only have 1 carrier. Still very tough. Still gonna need to be able to solo a Sancha raid in order to complete the missions, but I think it's doable. I'm actually gonna do another extreme right now. For a Cyan or Shanghai, you're gonna find this a lot harder to do.
Warp drive active.
Although with the new E-War drones, you might have a much better situation, especially with the Mamba. I don't know. I really need to borrow a Cyan or a Shanghai to see how the Mamba performs and the two healing drones. Or the two healing fighters.
Destination reached.
Yeah, I don't have any fighters yet. It'll probably be next week before I can actually do any
Warp
testing.
drive active.
So I don't mind waiting until then. Although, to be fair, I could probably buy a Cyan after I sell all these items today. I don't know, what's the cost of a Cyan right now? I'm gonna have like 60 billion, so...
Warp drive active.
52. I could do that. Yeah, Sun Chaser is so nice, though.
We're being warp scrambled.
Oh my god. 130 billion for a Shanghai hole? What are people doing?
We're being warp scrambled.
Did you see that? I gotta pull that back up. What? You have got to be kidding me. Why would anybody fly to Shanghai over the Lucent Moon now? What? What the heck is the cost of the Lucent? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, dude. Ah, 40 billion difference. Why? Just why? Why?
We're being warp scrambled. Receiving remote repair.
Shanghai should not be that expensive.
We're being warp scrambled.
But, do you remember when the Shanghai released, I said that ship is probably going to be about 110, 120 billion. And here we are. Right on the money.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. Receiving remote repair.
That's so crazy. That Shanghai has gone so far through the roof. I would honestly rather own a fighter version of the Lucent Moon than own a Shanghai for 130 billion. I don't even need this thing anymore. I don't know. Shanghai needs one extra fighter bay. That's all it needs, one extra fighter bay. And maybe it would actually be worth that much. Yeah, need light fighter bay 5. What about that new, advanced hangar 4? Where is it? Is it? Which one is it? There it is, I think that's the one. "25% damage is pretty good. Interesting, it looks like it's more focused on the fighters rather than the ship itself. Yeah, I may have to consider building myself a Siam again. I've got the skills for it, so I might as well have one in case we get more fighter-related buffs or anything like that. Heck, we might even end up with those new carriers that EVE Online has. considering that we just got the E-War fighters, it's very likely we could see the brand new, carriers from EVE Online. Yeah, yeah. I may do so. I don't even know what that thing costs that you have. Alright, so that is taken care of. What do we end up with here? 395 million from the loot. Very nice. See if we can grab a shared mission. What's this, normal? Yeah.
Autopilot engaged.
That's cool. Yeah, if I have a cyan, I would probably deck it out pretty heavily for high sec.
Warp drive active.
It kinda needs it anyway. Oh, but I don't have the general units anymore. That's kind of a problem. I don't exactly want to go and buy the general units again, either.
Warp drive active.
Oh. Okay. The problem.
Warp drive active.
Okay, so that extreme mission gives me 37 million as a bounty. Yeah. Cyan's capacitor is a huge problem. It's not as bad once you're fully maxed out, but man, it definitely hurts.
Destination reached. Warp drive active.
Yeah, that's why Cyan is like the perfect entry into a high-sec carrier, but you're gonna want to upgrade to something like a Lucent Moon or a Shanghai at some point.
Warp drive active.
I don't even actually need to turn on my tank at all. It's just gonna be a stomp anyway. Oh, pretty easy, 15 million there. Now we go accept another one.
Autopilot engaged.
And this is just how high-sec works right now. As long as these shared missions are up,
Warp drive active.
you can make some really good ISK if you're quick to clear things. And those are other 37 million from that last extreme mission. And we've already made about 300 million today on the missions that we had for ourselves.
Warp drive active.
My goodness, there's a lot of reds about. Oh, thank you for the follow, Net Angel. How you doing today? Guess I missed you about a minute and a half ago, 2 minutes ago, or something like that. Welcome, welcome. I don't even have local on to see if anybody's saying hi. Sometimes they do. Nah, just people selling stuff. That's all good.
Destination reached. Warp drive active.
Oh, let's keep going. I'm honestly debating dropping the yellow reactive for, like, an inertia stabilizer. I really am.
Warp drive active.
I've seen the rest of my corp be able to handle things pretty well without the reactive. So maybe
We're under
I can go ahead and drop that for an inertia modifier. Or an inertia stabilizer.
We're being warp scrambled.
You think the third red instead? Okay. Yeah, I mean, we are extraordinarily overtanked right now, so maybe, yeah, maybe that third red would be a good one to drop. Easy 25 million there. 10 million from that, and then whatever else. I'll just run their missions since they've got auto accept on.
Autopilot engaged.
Already up to 408 million for the loot. That's pretty good.
Warp drive active.
I don't think you'd ever actually get that much from that loot. But you might see like 200 million. I think what we'll do is we'll do this last mission here, and I'll call it a day.
Destination reached. Warp drive active.
We've already made quite a bit in a very short amount of time, in my opinion. I don't know. 72. Good lord. I thought you said this thing wasn't blamed. Where's that located right now? Fortner.
Autopilot engaged. Destination reached.
The only thing I didn't see on that was the hangar. Am I having internet issues? Oh, that's because I'm sitting outside the gate. Duh.
Warp drive active.
We're being warp scrambled.
Yeah, if the only thing that you were missing was the hangar. Yeah, if the only thing you're missing is the hangar, then, I can fit that thing pretty heavily. That was a pretty easy mission. Let's just see if anything showed up. Yeah, no, still the same, I might just do their last mission, since they have it on auto.
Autopilot engaged.
It's fun to just run around high-sec doing missions for people. Especially when it's, like, not stressful at all. It's my work time.
Warp drive active.
19.7. If I get an inertia modifier, a really good one, that might bring me down to like 10 seconds or less. That'd be nice. That. Now I also cannot remember if Cyan could go armor or shield. Or if it was just a shield carrier. Shield booster, shield, shield. Okay, so definitely a shield chip.
Warp drive active.
Definitely a shield chip. Yeah, it probably wouldn't have nearly as bad of capacitor issues if it was run as an armor ship. I just don't know if the new repair,
Destination reached.
if the new repair, things. I can't remember the name of it. The new repair fighters are gonna be enough to keep it running hard in
Warp
armor.
drive active.
That's something I need to test on something like a Cyan. If you're not using it for shield, that would be weird. It's built for shield, so I'll probably just stick with that.
Warp drive active.
We're being warp scrambled.
Okay, so you're only getting about 9 million from the bounty on these missions. Still close to like 20 billion, or 20 million for the missions, so that's not terrible. I would like it to be a little higher, though, for people. Alright, pretty easy. Let's head back to Gina. We'll
Autopilot
collect all of
engaged.
our stuff and we'll sell it and see where we end up. Gotta turn off my stuff, though.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
Lots to claim when we get in Gina. Guess I need to pick up some extra stuff when I land in Gina as well after I sell everything, but that'll be for next week. Still got 3 jumps.
Warp drive active.
There's another 9 million there. So much
Warp
better to
drive
do the
active.
higher end missions if you can do them. Oh wow. No missions on the shared missions page. I think that was perfect timing, to be honest.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, definitely, Riley. Absolutely. It's definitely a lot better than a Cyan. But you really can't compare Shanghai and Lucent Moon right now. Lucent Moon is just better in all respects.
Warp drive active. Destination docking request accepted.
Yeah, Telemachus does not have a whole lot of nanocores. There's only 2 right now. So. Alright, so we got a bunch of payouts there. Gonna hold on to this here, probably drop it in Corp Hangar or something. You'll see we have the start of the ones that we did with the missions. And then, if I go to mission sharing, reward logs, and I hit claim all, that will pay me a little bit, plus the boxes, plus the LP. I should have 22, not 19. Because I did 2 hard and 3. What's it doing? Why am I missing 3? Yeah, I should be at 22, not 19. I don't know why I'm missing 3, things. Maybe it's dropped in a different location? Because I don't have my hard mission in here. Maybe I need to log out and log back in. Ah, yeah. It dropped it in Alikara. Alright. That's what happened. Let us grab our allegiance and we'll go pick that up. I was wondering what it was doing.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking. Warp drive active.
Why would it drop it in Alikara and not Gina? That is so weird.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active. Destination docking request accepted.
Let's grab this. Always a little bit annoying when things don't go exactly where they're supposed to go. Thank God it was only 2 jumps away, though.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking. Warp drive active. Warp drive active. Warp drive active. Destination docking request accepted.
Alright, now we're back. Alright, so out of our 1,200 Aurum, which is pretty much $50, we got a little lucky. Actually, we got a lot lucky, getting 2 extreme missions and 2 hard missions, which allowed us to get a grand total of 15 boxes today, and we ended up with like 77 billion. That is not bad at all. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care, and be safe.